What's going on, everybody? It's the Bayou City Report, man. We're going to get right into it. We got two guys on surveillance videos that participated in two separate robberies. One of them included a 10-month-old inside of a vehicle where the mother stepped out real fast to go inside to get something, and the two guys jacked her car and sped off. Now, thankfully, the child was found later on, but the first incident happened at 3:45 p.m. at a parking lot near Buffalo Speedway and 610. Now, in the incident, the victim was sitting in her vehicle in the parking lot. She was approached by these two guys, and they were asking her if they could buy some weed or if she sold any weed. Obviously, the lady said no, and, the two guys left, but they waited until she got out of her car, heading back to her building. Okay, as she was walking to her building, she looked back and saw the two guys running toward her car. One of them pulled out a gun and demanded her keys. Then they fled the scene in her vehicle. Now, a separate incident believed to be related happened at 6:55 p.m. the following day. This happened on the 2700 block of West Belford Avenue. And in that incident, a woman had just arrived at her apartment complex with her two kids, 10 months old and 1-year-old. Now, when she was taking her 1-year-old inside and was returning to the vehicle, she saw those same two guys in her vehicle, okay? Now, why you would leave any of your kids in your car, take them inside, is beyond my belief. I'm not a mother, but at the same time, it's sort of common sense, right? Now, the victim tried to chase these guys on foot, and she tried to cut them off, and she was struck by her own vehicle. The men drove out of the complex with the 10-month-old still in the car, okay? Now, this is an infant in her car seat. The child was later located by police on the 8900 block of Lakes at 610 Drive, okay, but the mom only had minor injuries. Now, as I mentioned before, police are trying to investigate, see what's going on. It's not a matter of whether them areas are good or bad, man. You just have nefarious characters all through Houston. Like I said a million times before, Houston is a patch city, okay? You got people all through this town who are just of no good character. Okay, you gotta keep your head on a swivel. You gotta know what's going on, especially where you live. If you see anything or anyone that looks suspicious or looks out of place, you gotta keep on your P's and Q's. Now, these two dudes are in their mid-20s, and as you can see, they have slim builds, man. Hopefully they could be found, because I think that's grimy. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're stealing someone's vehicle with their child inside, and I can see why she tried to cut them off and dive in front of the vehicle, whatever it took. Now, in a few other incidents across the city, it's just a series of shootings. There's always shootings going on in Houston. On the 7900 block of on Sunbury Street, HPD were dispatched to a scene and found a man dead and deceased who had been shot at least once at the location. Now, police say that the man was in front of his home when he had some kind of interaction with two other guys, and then the shooting occurred during that interaction. The suspects then fled, heading east from the location. Nothing else that the police knows currently. It's just another shooting in the city, unfortunately. Now, go with me to the southeast side of the city. On the 4600 block of East Nassau Parkway, there were two shooting victims outside of a nightclub where both victims were taken to the hospital by EMS, one of them with life-threatening injuries. Now, this happened over something stupid, over parking at a nightclub. I mean, let alone the fact that it's a nightclub, and I try my best to avoid nightclubs, but this is over a parking spot. The two guys were arguing. The argument turned into a shooting, and then there was another woman in the incident who was also injured, but she didn't have any life-threatening injuries. It's just stupid stuff going on all across the city. The third shooting was a woman who was found dead with multiple gunshot wounds inside her car in A-Leaf. Now, this happened on the 4300 block of South Kirkwood at 1:17 p.m. Authorities said the woman was inside her car when a man in a white, newer model Jeep Renegade pulled up in the street behind her and got out of his car. Okay, the man began to walk away, but then came back and shot the woman. Okay, so apparently the guy got out of the car, shot the woman, left, stopped, turned around, came back, shot her 2 more times before going back into his car and fleeing the scene. Authorities say they got us a description of the suspect. He was a little bit heavy set, You know what I mean? And some witnesses saw the incident while they were leaving church. They still don't know why it happened. They don't have a backstory. It's just another one of them shootings across the city, man. It happens every day, all day, for various reasons. No one knows why. Y'all keep your head on a swivel. Y'all stay safe out there. It's the Bayou City Report. I'm out.